are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe it. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. The police are after me, she said. Yeah, they held their gun to my head, but somehow I ducked, escaped, and fled the scene. Well, they already ran my ID. Yeah, they already ran my ID. They pulled me off the train in the Portland rain. Mid-November ain't the warmest ride, and the grainer ain't the best place to hide, especially when you're riding suicide. Especially when you're riding suicide. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend. So I got back on when they were gone on the flagged old gondola. Then I smoked the resin in my bunk, cause the police didn't find it. Woke up in a mountain range, woke to a cold, wet, lonesome pain. And then the time it came to get the fuck off the train, because the police are after me again for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. Yeah, the police are after me, my friend, for a crime I don't even believe in. Yeah, the police are after me again. She said the police are after me for being dirty, trespassing. They hate me cause I ain't clean, but I think they're the ones who are dirty.
And yeah, we're ready for this. I mean, I hope you are. I know I am.
Absolutely.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Garret Schuelke podcast. I'm your host, Garret Schuelke, and this is a special episode. We're continuing that line of special. We're recording live in Elmhurst, Illinois, this little suburb. Is it technically in Chicagoland?
Technically, yes, but it's definitely a suburb.
All right, good enough, because I can never really, despite my love of Chicago and coming here, I still have a lot to learn, and some of it I just straight up can't tell.
I think it's like right out at the edge of Schaumburg where it stops being Chicagoland.
Oh, okay. All right, and with me today is a Bizzaro and horror author, straight from here, Elmhurst. He is the author of Dong of Frankenstein, Tales of Questionable Taste, Strip, and I believe your latest book, Blood.
Yes, that's right.
Which I remember asking you last time we met last year at Printers Row.
It was almost out.
Like,
almost.
So
it was out.
close.
I think it came out like 3 weeks later.
So close, yet so far.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have it this year.
Very nice.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, every other identification, John Bruni.
Hi, everybody.
Yep. John, thanks for hosting me.
Absolutely.
Thanks for meeting me, and yeah, again, thank you for introducing me to the metro train, which is how I got out here.
Yeah.
Very enjoyable ride. And we had a nice, fun game of hide and seek there. I was trying to figure out where you were.
Yeah.
I was actually surprised you met me there. I thought I would, just text and wait.
Oh, no, I'm always punctual. Or at least I try to be.
Yeah, so you said in the car, because we had great conversations in the car, we did entire podcasts there, that you take the metro a lot, actually.
Every day, every work day, except for now because I have my broken foot and I'm off on FMLA leave, so...
Yeah, that's actually why I'm out here today, because I did want to interview you, actually, but then I learned about your health troubles.
Yeah, they've been ongoing for quite some time. This is the third time recently that I've been in the hospital for something.
Yeah, I know. You actually have a host of health problems. Some of them, I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, some of them try to kill me. One of them, the first in the string was to get a toe amputated.
Oh.
That was my 40th birthday present from the universe. And the second one was when my kidneys tried to kill me. They stopped working almost. The doctor said that I was down to 5%.
Oh, very nice. Hanging on a thread.
Yeah, they brought me back, nursed me back to health. And then this latest one was a broken foot, which I have no idea how that happened.
Well,
and that isn't because of a blackout. I just want to make that specifically clear.
Okay.
Because all I know is that one day my foot started killing me. I'm like hobbling along on my 15-minute walk to work, wondering what the hell is wrong with my foot that kept swelling up until I couldn't even put it in my shoe anymore. And then I finally gave in, went to the hospital, and they said that your left foot is broken. Do you have an idea how that happened? No, I don't. Apparently it's called Sharky's foot.
Sharky's foot.
Yes, it's when a diabetic breaks a foot bone and they don't feel it.
And you're diabetic?
I am diabetic.
Ah.
So I broke the foot, didn't feel it until it started puffing up on me, and that's actually Sharky's foot technically refers to the last stage of syphilis, which I don't have. At least I'm fairly certain.
Jesus Christ, John Bruni. How are you alive, brother?
I don't know. I ask myself that all the time.
I mean, I was just bitching at you about how I've been having this asthma shit for 2 weeks. Yeah, here you are. Yeah, by the way, I broke my foot. I'm diabetic, and this thing I have is technically something from syphilis. Like, God.
I'm told it's technically a term for last stage of syphilis, but it also applies to diabetics.
Okay. Yeah. Well, speaking of blackout too, we're also drinking Guinness Extra Stout.
That's right. It's mighty fine.
On request, since I figured that since I visit you, I should pay tribute.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah. And we are also recording on a stack of his books as well, also presents, which I greatly appreciate.
Yep. Yes, sir. That is my entire bibliography, minus 3 ebooks and 1 EP that you can download.
Very nice. Thanks.
Yep. Well, I guess before we get into all the health problems and shit, let's just do this.
All right.
How have you been?
Been better. I've been worse. Right now I'm pretty much confined to bed. This is probably the first time I've been out for any lengthy period of time. Actually socializing, which is starting to become foreign to me. I'm even missing work. I miss going to the office.
Honestly, this is the perfect time for a podcast, so...
Exactly. You're gonna get gold. Gold, I tell you.
I know, this is quality content. Yeah, what is... Okay, you don't have, name names or companies, but what is your occupation, your day job?
I work at a telecommunications company in the city, and I work in the repair department. So I essentially take calls about people who are upset about their phone service not working, and then we listen to the helicopter for a while as it flies over.
Dude, I have been getting actually pretty good with using my Audacity. They got the noise dampener on there.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think I've used it twice.
Nice.
Worked pretty good.
Nice. Well, I hope it works there.
Oh, it will. I mean, I've done podcasts from fans. The first time I was in Chicago 2 months ago when I interviewed Robert Dean.
Oh, yeah.
We did it at this burger place, which wasn't too noisy, but he's still playing background noise that I got out pretty well.
Yeah.
So,
very nice.
Anyway, so basically, telecommunications. You're the
they call
center?
me when their service is messed up or they're unhappy about something, which is a lot, and I try to fix whatever their problems are, and if I can't, try to pass it on to somebody who can.
Yeah, how long have you had this day job?
This job I've had for 3 years now. I've been in telecommunications, however, for 13 years.
Oh, did you go to college or university for that?
Actually, no. I'm of the opinion that there is nobody in the history of the world who actually wants to go into telecommunications. There are no children who are going around saying, you know, Mom and Dad, when I grow up, I want to be a repair technician at a telecommunications company.
Yeah, well, all of us want to be indie authors, right?
Oh, yes, that's where the money is.
Exactly.
But, before I was in a teleconference company for 10 years. And I've gone over this before with a few other interviews, but they let me go for a variety of reasons. But the one I'm told by my previous boss was that all the other things was all bullshit. They found my books. And they didn't want anyone working for them who'd written a book like, say, Dawn of Frankenstein.
Well, wait, I guess, how open are you about where you work at your day job? I mean...
I do not post anything about... I don't make any specific claims. I don't name any companies I work for or have ever worked for except for Sears.
You probably got some good stories out of that one.
Oh,
right?
I did. That was the worst job I've ever had. And I used to clean out a wash bay where they cleaned out the sewer trucks for the city of Elmhurst.
Yeah, that's actually been my strategy these past 6 years at my job, the warehouse, is, I just don't have it on my profile at all. Maybe sometimes I'll make, like, a specific reference, like a union grievance or some shit at work. Other than that, don't mention it, don't have it in my profile.
Yeah.
Every time someone, like my friends, I see it, like, they have it, like, works at the warehouse. I'm like, dude, bad idea. Get that shit off.
Oh,
no, they won't fire me. You think?
And that's just not good advice for just people like us, writers of questionable material. It's also for just everybody in general, because people, corporations, they're watching Facebook pages now. And if you post something that they don't like, then all of a sudden the HR says, "Can you please see me in my office?" And then that's it.
Well, another thing, at least with me, is that I go by a pen name, unlike you. Granted, it's literally just it's the same last name, and the first name, Garret, sounds suspiciously close to Gary, so... it's not that hard to figure out. You don't have to be Batman to figure it out.
Yeah, the world's greatest detective.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go further back.
All right,
John, when were you born?
I was born in 1978 in this very town of Elmhurst, Illinois.
Oh, so you lived here all your life?
I have. Not always in this place, but in various places about town.
All right, I've my very first time here. We talked about on the way over here, but how would you describe Elmhurst? Like in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, it is a city that's getting a lot more expensive to live in. It used to be a lot more accessible to people with lower income, and that is very slowly changing. Well, actually, these days it's rapidly changing. For example, this set of townhouses where we're at, the city of Elmhurst would absolutely love to tear these down and build something new. Something like, they put a whole bunch of McMansions over there. They would love to do that here. That's just in my town, in my part of town. My part of town, that's where people who don't have a lot of money get to live, for now.
Yeah, because I have been out to the suburbs here, like Forest Park, Melrose Park. And yeah, I've always speculated that if I were to move to Chicago, which is something I've pretty much always desired since I first came here, I would probably live way out here or something, because I sure as hell couldn't afford, like, downtown where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
which is Lincoln Park, Chicago Getaway Hostel. Holla.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy around here. I would like to continue living here, but who knows? What with all my health problems, who knows if my company even wants to keep me on. Yeah. And at age 40, it's very difficult to find a new job, a new square job, you know? I mean, they see 1978 on a resume and they're like, yeah, there's a kid over here who was born in 1992. Let's take him.
What was Elmhurst like when you were growing up?
It was a lot more dangerous. You might have noticed the prairie path across the street.
Yeah.
So back in the day, they didn't have lights over there. They didn't have any lights or anything like that. And it was a place where if you went for a night walk, you could be raped. You possibly could get murdered. Not likely. More likely to be mugged or anything like that. Or sometimes even run into a coyote.
A what?
Coyote.
Coyote?
Yeah, we have them.
Wait, what's that?
You know coyotes?
Oh, coyote. Oh.
I'm told that we pronounce that differently around Chicago. I don't know.
Shit, you must be. I've never heard that.
I don't know. I've heard it from somebody else in the past.
Well, from my Michigander ears, it sounded like you said peyote.
Oh.
Like peyote.
Peyote.
I'm like,
why, you got some?
No, not right now. I got plenty of Juncum on me if you want any of that.
But, We used to have some wild animals back there. I mean, sometimes we still do, every once in a while. But it was definitely not a thing to go for a night walk.
Okay, and what area did you grow up in?
I grew up 3 blocks that way, which back when I was a kid was actually a pretty nice area. In fact, it is still pretty nice. I just wish I still lived there, that's all. I mean, you should see. In fact, I'll drive you by the place when we head out of here. It's this big. It looks almost like well, I wouldn't say like the White House, but you could see the resemblance if you take a look at it. But yeah, it was great. It was almost an Andy Griffith type lifestyle when I was a kid. But then I started growing up and moving around, and all of a sudden I started learning more about my town, and I found out that, yeah, you could go to York School, York High School. That's where I eventually went when it was safer. But this place you could have gotten stabbed at. You know, it's not like that now. I mean, not really. Probably not.
Very reassuring.
Your kids are probably safe.
Yeah, I must confess too, whenever I come out to the suburbs, I look for like 2 types of houses.
Yeah.
One, the McAllister's house from like Home Alone.
You can find some of those down that way.
Yeah, and again, there was a meme was like, how can this family raise 5 kids in this area of Chicago?
Yeah.
Or I look for like the Bundy house from Married with Children.
Yeah.
I have yet to like really see them, so.
Yeah. I've seen the McAllister house. I haven't seen the Bundy house though.
Again, that was like the same question, you know, how can Al Bundy have this house and raise this and that shoe salesman
Speaking
salary.
as a former shoe salesman, he couldn't.
Well, really?
Yes.
Oh wait, let's go back to Sears.
It does.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But okay, so I guess we'll get right into it then.
All right.
When did you start writing or got interested in it?
I've been doing this pretty much all my life. I started writing when I was a little kid and started writing my own stories. I was first inspired by Hardy Boys. That was my very first inspiration. When I started reading those books, I realized, hey, maybe I could do something like that, because obviously someone's writing these things. And the funny thing is, not just someone, but a lot of people were writing Hardy Boys. It was just all under Franklin W. Dixon, who didn't even exist. It was just a bunch of work-for-hire writers just pitching in, getting paid $100 a novel.
Who's better? Who are the better detectives, Hardy Boys or the Hardly Boys from South Park?
Oh my God!
Getting a raging Clue. Get Clue over here.
They're about on par. But yeah, the one I read in particular was The Haunted Fort. And that's when I realized, you know what, this is something I want to do. So I started writing the cleverly titled Detective Boys.
Very original.
Yes, but
original idea, do not steal.
Yes, exactly. I still have my stories, damn it. I will publish them.
Yes, there you go. Riot Forge. All right, wait for it.
Welcome to the suburbs.
Should we just wait? All right, we'll be right back.
I wanna get stoned and eat a pizza with you, but I don't have money to get us food. But if we wait till the pizza shops close, then we wait till the workers go home. We can ride our bikes and carry a sack, and we'll go to the dumps out of the back, and we could go dumpster diving, and we'll go dumpster diving.
Oh, thank you, God. It is over. Sorry about the interruption, folks. I really do hope you enjoyed that middle song there, because we just had to wait out the lawnmower guy.
It was not Jeff Fahey.
Okay, back to it. Okay, I don't know if I got cut off or not, but okay, you were inspired by the Hardy Boys.
Yeah, I was inspired.
You created your very own original work, the Detective Boys.
Which I cunningly used myself and my friends at the time as the characters.
Nice.
But as always, once you start reading, you keep it up, you're only going to find new shit, and new shit will inspire you. And I found Stephen King at a very young age, an age that I probably shouldn't have been reading him. And that just changed my life for me. I read, I think it was Cujo.
Very nice.
That was the first one, and no, Eyes of the Dragon.
Oh, that's very specific there. His,
Yeah.
Was it his first or only science fiction work?
Fantasy, actually.
Oh, fantasy.
It's kind of tied in with the Dark Tower series, so technically not, but yeah, it was the only one really marketed as a fantasy novel.
What do you think of the movie?
They didn't do Eyes of the Dragon, did they?
No. Oh, no, Dark Tower.
Oh, Dark Tower. They made some interesting choices, but ultimately I did not like it. I really enjoyed the Matthew McConaughey stop breathing thing. That was funny. That made me laugh. But really, aside from that, they told the story wrong.
Oh.
The main character wasn't the gunslinger. The main character was Jake, which, while interesting, is still not what I came to see, you know?
God. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what my first Stephen King book was.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was The Shining, but that's because I first saw the movie, the Stanley Kubrick film, and I was like, oh, I should read the book. And yeah, I will say two things about the book. The ending was way more explosive, literally.
Yes.
It was a Michael Bay film compared to Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah.
And a lot of sex too.
Yeah, there was that.
I think the wife apparently had really big tits in that movie, that book.
Oh yes.
Which the actress who played her in the Stanley Kubrick film really did not have.
No, she also played Olive Oil, as I recall.
Yeah.
If that gives anybody who hasn't seen the movie any idea.
And sadly, I think she's living out her days pretty much off her rocker.
From what I heard, Stanley Kubrick really broke her on that movie.
Oh, yeah.
She's pretty much a recluse now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
That's a shame. Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, yep. And I think she had mental issues to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
Kubrick did not help her.
No. He was a great director, but maybe not the best person.
Oh, God. All right, and we talked about Stephen King, the Hardy Boys, and
Stephen King actually was the one who started getting me to write horror. That's when I made the transition.
Yeah, I'm about to say, first you had mystery, now you have horror. Have you always written in genre?
I have, essentially. I mean, every once in a while I'll have something that shows up in a literary mag, but mostly it's genre work. I love the horror is where my heart is. Science fiction, mystery, crime, all that good stuff.
Bizzaro,
yes. Yes. I remember, in fact, I started reading Bizzaro before they actually had a name for it, back when it was just called Joe R. Lansdale. And I'm so excited they're finally doing the third Ned the Seal book.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved Zeppelin's West and the other one, what was that? London's Burning, I think it was called. But I like Ned the Seal, and I'm glad he's coming back for the final book.
Okay, and when would you say was the first time you professionally wrote? You felt like it was a career, or you made money off it?
Well, when I was still in high school, this was senior class only. I was just a sophomore, but I wanted it so badly that they let me in. It was the only creative writing class in the history of that school. And I was so excited to be in there. It was just a class of 15 kids, all of them older than me. and we just sat there, and a lot of them took the elective because I'm a senior. I'm going to get out of here. Let's just waste some time. But apparently, very few actually took the class seriously, and I was one of them. In fact, I had a certain drive that brought my teacher over to me once, and he said, "So you really want to be a writer, huh?" "Yeah." "Well, here." And then he slid these Xerox pages across the desk to me. They were folded, so I unopened it, and it was photocopies from the writer's market. And not just any section of the writer's market. It was the science fiction, fantasy, horror section. So he knew exactly what I was looking for. And all of a sudden, boom, I can make money at this. Because I'm looking at, granted, money for authors has not changed since Lovecraft was right in the pulps. In fact, it's gotten a little worse. But,
oh yeah, I would definitely say worse.
Yeah, I mean, people now working for exposure is fine when you're starting out. I've done it just to get the name out there. But when the name is out there, you got to start getting paid for it.
Brother, I have lots of opinions on this whole issue.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Even if it's just a measly $1, I expect something out of it.
Yeah. It's good to know that whether it's Michigan or Illinois, you always get that great Midwestern weather and bugs and pollen.
Oh, yeah. But the funny thing is, while I did get some exposure publications from Writer's Market, and I started buying it every year after he gave me those Xerox copies. But the funny thing is, the first thing I ever truly got paid for, and it was a big paycheck, $75 for a story.
Oh, shit.
$75. I was
how big
still
was
in
the
college.
story?
Not very long. But the funny thing is, it was gay porn.
I think you mean erotica.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, erotica. It was called Bobby Yandel, Private Investigator. It was published in Indulge for Men. I don't think they're around anymore. But
so
then I realized, hey, wait, now I have an in with this magazine. Maybe I can get more money. So I wrote another one called, it was my Gunsmoke parody called Cocksmoke. And I got another $75. And then they got a new editor and they stopped buying stuff from me. But
why? Was it not of quality to him or something?
I guess not. But then they disappeared shortly after that, I think.
Well,
I don't want to say there's a correlation between me no longer getting a paycheck from them and them going out of business, but I'm just saying.
The quality of these stories, were they like Danielle Steele level or like Chuck Tingle level?
Somewhere in between, actually, because the first one was a parody of Raymond Chandler's work. Because I wanted to, God damn it, I wanted to do a mystery porno with a detective who, everyone's always got. She came into my office. She had gams up to here, and she was a blonde with ripe lips and stuff like that. But I wanted it to be about a guy appreciating a guy.
He came in my office. He was a young twink. He was blonder than Goldilocks.
And the funny thing is, there's one line in that story because apparently I didn't know that much about gay sex at the time. Now, no, I mean, I figured we'll just switch it around. I know what I like, and I'm sure other guys like that coming from other guys, so it's probably the same. And clearly I was wrong because, I learned, for example, that a guy can actually have an orgasm just by getting fucked in the ass. I did not know that at the time.
Boy pussy.
Yeah. I didn't know that at the time, and the editor found that, probably figured I was a straight dude, and fixed it for me. But there was one line in there that I wish I wrote, that he added in, and the line was like this. I jerked my meat fast and hard, feeling guilty for being such a pig. Obviously, the line stuck with me. I wish I'd written it. I hadn't, though. That was the editor, in case anyone ever finds that issue.
Have any of these stories been published anywhere else?
No.
Like on your blog or anything in your books?
No. Not yet. I did do a sequel to Bobby Yandel, though. This one was a porn parody of Mickey Spillane. It was called My Dick is Quick.
Oh, god damn it.
That one I published in Tabard Inn, my first issue. Still under my pen name from Indulge for Men, which was Anthony Havisham. And I also wrote straight, but not a lot of people bought it. Only one, Penthouse.
Well, shit, Penthouse?
But they didn't publish it as a story. They published it as a letter too.
Oh, come on. Those are all stories. I'm willing to bet over half of them are made up.
Maybe 75%.
I mean, come on. I remember... Okay, there was a Penthouse I read back in the day.
Yeah.
Like, it was like an old, early 90s issue. It's out at my family's hunting camp in one of our blinds. Our hunting blinds. And basically described this guy who hooked up at the circus with, like, one of the women in the freak show. She was, like, the snake lady. And, of course, gave, the elaborate description.
Yeah.
And I believed that at the time, because I was fucking dumb. Looking back now, it's like, okay, this is bullshit. He did not just walk around after the show and say, hey, Snake Lady, you're hot.
No, you gotta save that for the contortionist lady.
Well, it's more than that, but it was just a perfect setup.
Yeah. So, but the straight one was actually was a true story. A personal story that really did happen to me. But
Well, there you go. It kind of fit into the section.
But they changed it and made it a lie. Because I put too much humor into it.
Oh, okay.
And they decided, no, we want to play this safe. So it's, in my version, it's me and my girlfriend at the time. We went to this street festival. And
Here in Elmhurst?
Yes.
Odd times.
Yes. And we went back to her place, and one thing led to another, led to me coming in my own eye. And I don't blame myself for it. I blame her, because I gave her a courtesy tap, and she pointed me up to my face. But that was in the story, and they cut that out. All of a sudden, we were two collegiate professionals. We had just come home from an art show. And we made sweet love for the first time.
Really?
And it was published under the name Walter Initial K from Dallas, Texas.
Very nice. So
$50. It was worth it, even if they turned my story into a lie.
Close enough, I guess.
Yeah, close enough.
Yeah, dude, you should put together a collection. Those stories, the Detective Boy stories.
Oh, God.
John Bruni Omnibus.
From mysteries to menage a trois.
Like, it'll literally show your evolution.
Yes, of course, my evolution.
All right, so okay, so let's continue. You do those.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there after high school?
That was actually college.
Oh, college.
That was college. That was another writing class that I was in at the time. And I told my writing teacher about my sales to the porn industry. He says, well, at least you're out there making money. And sorry to everyone else who was in that class. But he said, you might be the only one making money in here. Apologies.
Yeah, new assignment class, you much all right gay porn.
Yes. But yeah, from there I still wanted to make a name for myself in horror mostly, and other genres, and I kept trying. My unicorn is, of course, Magazine of Fantasy and Science Fiction. They have probably rejected me more times than I have years on this planet. But I kept trying, and really the only thing that I can say is perseverance. I know everyone says that, but they're right. And I hate to agree with everyone, but...
Inspirational Bruni.
Yes. And eventually my name got out there enough. I started making money, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting at my friend's house, Jason and Jory Laws. They used to run a website called Forced Viewing, where I wrote horror movie reviews for them. And they said to me, well, there's this publishing house looking for zombie story submissions, and it's a place called Strange House. I think maybe you should send something to them. I mean, we're friends with all those guys, so. I had these. I didn't have any new zombie stories, except I had these vignettes, and I sent them along.
Were they gay porn?
No, they were not, actually.
Oh.
They were pretty much straight zombie stories.
Oh. Now you have my interest.
I even have a story told from the zombies' perspective, and they're all just vignettes. And the zombies' perspective is just a whole bunch of grunts and hearing what other people say. And the sounds. No, not brains. They were not after brains. They were the classics. But I sent them along, and well, not to go into any of the background of that, but I was told by the guy who was handling submissions at the time, a guy by the name of Nick Day.
Nicholas Day?
Yes.
Oh, yes.
That we can't really take the vignettes. Do you have anything else? And I said that I have a story that's available for reprint if you want to take a look at it, and just send it along. So I sent him Pack Rat, or The Way of All Flesh, a Fable. And they loved it so much that they decided to put it in Zombie Brain Bang.
Dude, can you imagine what would happen if you sent them Detective Boys instead?
Oh my God, to see the look on Nick and Don's face.
Somewhere in the indie lit multiverse that happened.
Yes, yes. In a universe far, far from here. Earth 3000, I think.
Okay, so that got published then?
That did. That was my introduction to Strange House. And the next thing I know, Nick is telling me, "Hey, we want to see a collection of short stories from you." And I go, "Well, sure. I got a ton of those." So I put together as many stories as I could think of that I think that they would like, but I didn't know what they would really want in the whole collection. So I sent them a whole bunch of stuff, and Nick and Don worked it down to a handful, and that became Tales of Questionable Taste. And then that was it. My name is out there. Everyone starts contacting me, and I haven't gotten to the point where I'm turning work away. Please do not get that impression. I am not turning work away. If anyone is interested.
Yeah. Shout out to Nick Day and Don Noble. I met them again last month at StokerCon in Grand Rapids. We then proceeded to basically hang out and get drunk the night.
Nice.
And honestly, I remember meeting Don. He worked on my first book.
Yeah.
But that I remember that being my first time meeting Nick. But he's like, no, I met you last time. Like,
yeah, you were at Printer's Row show when he was there.
Yeah, like I've been to like last year and 2017. Yeah, but I don't remember him. And he's like, I'm like, really? I don't remember you. Yeah, well, I was blackout drunk, so you probably didn't really hear me that much. Yeah, they're great guys.
Oh, they are great guys. Don has the best redneck drunk stories, and
oh god, yeah.
And Nick's stories about Hollywood are great.
Yeah, they both had stories, and a little drama that night though, because when I met Don, it was in the hall. I was like, hey, we hug and everything. And he's like, hang on, man, I gotta go talk to Nick. I'm like, oh, I'll go along. We go there, and turns out that he was trying to get beer downstairs at the Amway Hotel in downtown Grand Rapids, where the con was. Yeah. And they declined his card. So he was talking to Nick because he left two people down there kind of with the bill. It's like, Nick, I need to do something about this. I got these two people hanging. Nick was like, well, listen, man, here's the thing. God, I'm trying to remember what he said exactly. This was right after the StokerCon Awards.
Yeah.
And I forget the author, but one of the books that Don worked on won one of the prizes, his poetry collection.
Oh yeah, Sarah Tatlinger.
Yeah, I think that's the name. God, I should remember that. But and he's like, anyway, here's that. He's like, listen, the thing is, I don't give a fuck what these companies think. I don't give a fuck if they decline my card. And they kind of went back and forth till Don convinced them to come down. And lo and behold, who were the two people that he left hanging there? Christoph Paul and Lisa Cantorella.
Oh my God, really?
Yep.
That is hilarious.
That was my first time meeting them too. Like, hey guys, want a beer?
That is great.
Yeah, that was a great time. Shout out to all those folks. Hope
Absolutely.
you're all doing well.
Yes.
Okay, so Tales of Questionable Taste. I actually, not only the book, but you have a website called this.
Yeah, actually, it's the title comes from the subtitle of my magazine, Tavern Inn. The full title is Tavern Inn: Tales of Questionable Taste. So, my website is, of course, talesofquestionabletaste.com, and I think I really do need to update it a bit more often. Usually I update when there's a new story out or a new novel or something, but a lot of other new stuff slips by, and I should really update it more often.
I had the same problem with mine. I'm on Tumblr, and I try to make a pledge, like I'll do at least one post a week.
Yeah.
Whether it's original content, or it's just like me reblogging something. Which, if you go on my website, it's either like comic books or anime,
Yeah.
nature stuff, travel stuff,
Yeah.
anarchist socialist stuff.
Nice.
Alright, so after that was published, how was the reception of that book?
It was actually very good. A lot of people really enjoyed that one, and it is definitely of questionable taste. It was really amazing how many people really love that book, even if they don't always write Amazon reviews. But everyone loves it. I've yet to run into anybody who said a bad word about it. So it was really good. It opened a lot of doors for me. It made Strange House want to work with me more, which of course was great, because without them, I wouldn't have many books out right now.
Oh, God.
I heard.
It's kind of having a heart attack there. I don't know if the lawnmower guy's about to come by from our swing.
You might.
I think we're safe for now. Okay, so onwards.
There's one funny story about the website before we go on.
Okay.
I just remembered, because it was one of the most embarrassing things in the world. So I travel all the way out to Pennsylvania to stay with Mike Lombardo and to be on the horror show with Brian Keene the second time. And as I'm walking into the studio and we start the interview and everything, and Brian Keene, he's online. By the way, did you know your website's down? None of these links are working. I'm like, what the fuck? No, I was not aware of that. So, unfortunately, I got kind of ill on that trip, so I couldn't really fix anything. When I got back home, I frantically went online to figure out what the fuck happened to my website. And I finally figured it out. Yeah, I got it right back up as soon as I could. Talk about embarrassing, the show airing and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, here's his website, which you can't go to.
Yeah, I listened to both those episodes, and again at StokerCon, I met Brian Keene for the first time.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh yeah, he's a great guy. Like you, I gave him all my books until then.
Nice.
You know, we got a nice picture together, both of our books autographed. Fun time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he knows who I am from Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that story after. But
right.
Yeah, great guy.
Yeah. He is. He's very welcoming, very inspiring to the rest of us. And the horror show really is a fantastic podcast. It really is. But that moment, just realizing that my website was down, I imagine I was absolutely pale as all hell. And I know I'd already been sweating. It was a bit hot that day. But, oh my God. But yeah, that was my horrible website story.
All right, so what was the next book to come out after this?
After that, well, maybe I should backtrack a little bit, because Tales of Questionable Taste wasn't my first book. The first book was only ebook, and it was put out by a publishing company that went out of business shortly after they published my book. It was called Strip, and the publishing house was called Musa, and it was funny because at around about the same time that they got Strip from me, they wound up purchasing a manuscript from the guy who wrote Who Framed Roger Rabbit. It was actually the it was actually the third book in the Roger Rabbit series that they were publishing.
They wrote more than one?
Yeah, this guy, I forget his name, but yeah, he wrote 3 books. I was
about to say, how can you frame Roger Rabbit in not one but 2 other times?
I think the first book was called Who Killed Roger Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, yeah, they published my first novel, which was Strip, which was a crime novel. And the crime, it did all right. I mean, it got good reviews, but not a lot of people were reading it. Except, and it was really funny because a friend of mine, John Michael Lennon, who used to do this comic book called Product of Society, he wound up going to FedEx and printing up the entire PDF. And he had a bound and everything, and had me sign it, and it was like the first physical copy of that book ever. But they went out of business. I got my rights back, and then I went to Riot Forge, to Don Noble, who redesigned the book and put it right back out. So I should give props to Don Noble for that, and for getting that book out there again. But the book technically after Tales of Questionable Taste, was Poor Bastards and Rich Fucks, which I'd originally written when I was back in college, but I didn't know what I was doing, so I fucked it up.
Like how so? Like the formatting or something?
No, I didn't know how to write this one. I was going in it the wrong direction. And when I decided to sit down and write it again, because I had a few new ideas that I wanted to work into it, this time out it came out pretty good. And I went to Strange House with it. They liked it a lot. Unfortunately, something happened before Strange House published that book. Strange House was bought up by Rooster Republic Press, and I had no idea what was going to happen to my book at that point. I figured, well, that's it, I'm going to be orphaned. But they still said, the new owners, they said, no, look, we still have every intention of putting it out. And it took them a long time, but they did get it out with a hell of a great cover by Luke Spooner. My God, I love that cover. It's like he reached into my head and pulled out the character of Richard Coppergate and put him right on that cover as perfectly as that's exactly what I thought of when I was writing that character. So much credit to Luke Spooner. The book finally did come out, and I think in the time of the new owners, they only did 3 books. They did Calicolt Kill, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I got to edit that one, and editing Emma Johnson is perfect because there is so little work. I think I moved 1 comma, and that's it.
Very nice.
And then came Poor Bastards and Rich Fucks, and then came Andre Duza's, forget the title, and I fucking edited it. I'm sorry to Andre Duza. My apologies. I'm blanking out right now. But yeah, and then for some reason, nothing. Stereo silence. Huh. Wonder what's going on. New owners. Same as the old owners, actually. Except this time Don and Nick had Rooster Republic, Strange House, and what was then called Monsterection, which eventually became New Kink.
Yeah, that's gone out. That went under recently, hasn't it?
It did. And with it, unfortunately, is the book that followed Poor Bastards and Rich Fucks, Dawn of Frankenstein. Still time to get that one.
Dude, as I said before, just put that shit publish that shit yourself.
Yeah, I think that's what I might do. I'm gonna just look into a few other options, but now is the probably the last time you can get the first edition.
Yeah, I have to say, I read that book really about a week because I'm a slow reader now compared to what I used to be. But here's an interesting story. There's a 24-hour laundromat that I go to in Grand Rapids. So I was there, I was reading the book, and I started feeling nauseous. And I remember the exact scene. It was a scene, spoiler alert, when Frankenstein meets that girl, not Frankenstein, the monster. God, Frankenstein the monster.
Monster Frankenstein, he's called in the book.
God. He's just in the popular culture.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, Frankenstein's a great monster name, if you think about
it. It is.
Anyway, the monster meets the girl that he's been lusting after.
Yes.
Then he fucks her. He tears her apart with his giant dick.
Yes.
And that's the thing, like, I don't think it was the book, because I don't get sick easy reading shit.
Yeah.
I'm more of a visual or a smells guy.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was something in the laundromat that smelled, because afterwards I immediately went up and vomited in the bathroom.
Wow.
So I was wondering that, but I'm like, okay, it's either something I ate or there's something that smells weird around here.
Well, I'm glad it happened to that scene.
I mean...
that scene caused quite a stir at one of my readings at the S&M Salon. I don't know if you recall. Or were you there?
No, actually, tomorrow is going to be my first time there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Nice. It's a really great time. I hope my wheelchair can get me in there.
Oh, are you coming?
I would like to. I would like to, but I remember there are a lot of stairs, and I don't know if there's a ramp in the back.
Well, I will be there, and I will be at Printers Row, my very first time there. The
Excellent.
Bizzaro folks were nice enough to let me hang.
That's very
Even
good.
though I'm more of a superhero fiction writer. I do have a plan for a Bizzaro thing in the future, but right now I'm way too preoccupied becoming famous with my GODAN series.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So anyway, honestly, the only times I felt like really ill reading something was, I can't believe I'm admitting this because I feel like a casual, Chuck Palahniuk's Guts.
Oh, yeah.
Which, thing about now, it's a real casual work in comparison to other stuff I read.
Yeah.
But also, Marquis de Sade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that, even though I, like, quickly got over that.
Yeah.
Especially, like, 120 Days of Sodom, I was like, oh, God.
Well, you're in prison that long, you gotta find something to write about.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I got Sallow for Christmas.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And great film. I'm saying that, really, it's a great film.
Yeah.
I gotta check out the director's rest of his stuff. The only scene I could not watch because I almost vomited was the circle of shit section. Yeah, I just cannot do that. I cannot, even if it's obviously fake, like, along with that, 2 Girls, 1 Cup, I can't watch people eating feces, and I'll just upchuck.
Yeah, that's a rough one. That is a rough one.
I don't know. It's always fun in a way, kind of discovering what my limits are, because I really desensitized myself when I was young. You know, online videos, Faces of Death, shit like that.
Yeah.
But then, on occasion, I'll watch something like that, and then it's like...
Yeah. Yeah, and then there's Traces of Death. You ever watch those?
Traces of Death. Which one is that again?
Traces of Death was the wannabe Faces of Death series.
No,
But instead of a lot of the fake stuff that they put in there, they went to other countries to get the real stuff.
Nice. Well, I remember 2 things from my hometown. Is they're both at the Family Video. Obviously, Faces of Death. And a little series called Banned in America.
I remember that, yeah.
Which I didn't know till later was created by the guy who would go on to do Girls Gone Wild.
Yeah.
Who turned out to be a famous scumbag.
Yes, he did.
According to the great Doug Stanhope. Yeah, I could see where he got his beginnings from.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like, Banned in America. Here's a guy blowing his head off on a bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I remember. My store was Video Magic on Butterfield Road. Just no more, sadly. But...
Okay, we kind of got it off.
Yeah.
Watching about fucking death videos. Okay, so it got bought by Rooster Republic. And same owners, but you're kind of wondering what's going on.
So they finally get everything back in order, back in running shape. Monster Action becomes new kink, and I edit a few books for them, and they get Dong of Frankenstein out, and then they say, we want to do Strange Sex 3. There were 2 volumes beforehand. The first Strange Sex was before I became involved with Strange House. The second one, I had a story in. And the third one, they said, we want you to edit. So I know a whole bunch of fucking perverts. I know these perverts. So I get them on the line, and so Strange Sex 3 was born. I mean, there's a lot of things in it. There's a guy who gets raped by a rat. There's a character who has sex with the office photocopier. There's a cunt bomb. There's lots of panda sex. And Manny DeSander's in there as well, with Duck Me and the Bass. Danger Slater. I've got a whole bunch of awesome authors in there. And yeah, it's fucking great. I'm so pleased with how it turned out. And at the last minute, I had to replace a story in there, and I had nowhere else to go, so I had to put my own story in. Ordinarily, I try not to put myself in anything that I edit, but needs must.
Wait, like a story you wrote, or a story where you were the main character?
That I wrote.
Oh, okay.
It was called A Market for All Things, about the underground market for celebrity penises. So it's about this guy who's a survivalist type guy. He gets dropped into the desert, and he finds the mummified corpse of his favorite movie star, the one who actually inspired him to become a survivalist. And then he decides, because he's crazy from the heat
Who
of
is
the
the
desert.
celebrity?
It's not an actual celebrity.
Oh, okay.
But I was thinking along the lines of the guy who played the werewolf in True Blood, Joe Manja something or other. That's why I had in my head when I was writing.
I actually already haven't gotten into that show.
Well, somebody out there knows and is probably yelling at their computer about it, or wherever they're listening.
My huge listenership.
Somebody knows the answer, and I bet you they're listening right now. And they're screaming like Patrick Swayze in Ghost. I just know it.
Well, folks, if you know the answer, put it down in the comments and smash that like button. And if you smash the dislike button, then fuck you.
Yes, exactly. But because he's crazy from the heat of the desert, he actually wants to see how much he measures up to his hero. And it turns out this hero is fucking hung. So he decides to take his penis and a thumb to prove that it's his. And he doesn't realize what he's done until he comes back to society and realizes what I've done is absolutely crazy. I have to get rid of this thing. And that's when he discovers the Icelandic Penis Museum. And he tries to sell it to them. But they're not taking it because that would be highly irregular. But then one of the people there, he overhears this and, did you just offer so-and-so's penis to us? I will take it. How much are you asking? And all of a sudden, everyone hears about this penis that he's taken. And everyone from British spies to Ninja to the mob to everyone is after this guy. And he just wants to get rid of this fucking thing. And it's funny, but
yeah,
I had to use that at the last minute.
All right. So you earlier mentioned that like with Stephen King and some others, that's when you got into horror.
Yeah.
But a lot of what you're talking about right now with your stories sound, dare I say, bizarro.
I believe you are correct, sir.
Yeah. When did you first learn the Bizzaro, John?
Yeah, when I first heard there was an actual word for it was when a friend of mine. I found on Warren Ellis on his old blog. He had some weird covers that he'd come upon recently, and one of them was Cameron Pierce's Ass Goblins of Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. And fuck me, I gotta have that. So I bought it, and I read it, and I realized, wow, there's a movement for this. It's called Bizzaro, which makes perfect sense because, I know comics, I know Bizzaro, Superman. Yeah, this is perfect. Bizzaro is the perfect word for this. And I looked at the back where they had all the other advertisements for the other books, and yeah, this is what I want. I want more of that. So I got a whole bunch of them, and I read through a lot of them, and I really enjoyed what I was seeing, because sometimes find myself writing something and realize that what I'm writing is absolutely insane and no one's going to want to buy it. Well, here are people who might actually buy it. So I'm not going to restrain myself anymore. I'm just going to fucking let it fly and see what happens. So that's how I got into Bizzaro, and I'd already met a few Bizzaro authors, and I was getting more and more into the movements, and it's a great community, and it just fits so well with other communities too, because it's so inclusive of just about anything, really.
Yeah, I will say that too, besides the writing. When I think it was like last year when I asked, like, man, I would, when I was at Printers Row, I forget who it was, maybe it was Danger. I asked him, like, man, would love to come here someday, sell my stuff. Oh, you should try it with us. Oh, really? Yeah. I'm like, well, I don't really write Bizzaro, though. He's like, yeah, we really don't care, and we're pretty wide umbrella.
Yeah.
And yeah, here I am tomorrow. Gonna be there.
Nice. Very nice. I'm gonna be there in a wheelchair.
Hey, at least you'll be there.
Yeah. It's gonna be a pain, but fuck it. I can't miss it.
Yeah, I tell you, the first time I got into Bizzaro, 2006, fall, winter 2006, was my first year at college. I moved to Traverse City from Alpena to attend their community college and to get out of my hometown.
Oh, yeah.
And after I graduated high school, I was like, okay, time to take this serious, because that's when I consider my writing career to, like, really begin.
Yeah.
So, like, and that was, like, really the early me. I was always looking for, like, movements, because I, like, wanted to make friends, find something to belong in.
Yeah.
Something to, like, try to sell my stuff. And, I was, like, literally searching up Wikipedia, like, under the literary movements category.
Yeah.
I see Bizzaro fiction on there. I check it out, and, like, this is interesting. Look more into it, and, yeah, it was something special.
Yeah.
I remember my first 3 books, too. There was the Kafka Effect by D. Harlan Wilson.
Yeah.
And God, dude, it's Stoker Khan again. He was there, but I kept missing him.
Oh, yeah.
I, like, wanted to get a picture and, like, tell him, like, hey, one of your books got me into Bizzaro. But, like, he like, didn't respond to, like, my comments on his page. Each time he would take a picture, I would look at it and be like, he was just literally right next to me. Anyway, the Kafka Effect, there's that. It's also, like, my first introduction, I think, to a flash fiction, though I wouldn't really grasp what it was until I read Amy Hempel a couple of years later.
Okay.
And Carlton Mellick,
Naturally.
The Menstruating Mall,
Nice.
still one of my favorites. And then the first Bizzaro starter kit. It was the one that had his story, Baby Jesus Butt Plug.
Nice.
Yeah, and I tried writing Bizzaro, and yeah, it failed badly.
Oh, really?
It's pretty much just Mellick wannabe bullshit.
Yeah.
But after that, I would later get into poetry. Well, that's a whole different story. But
Yeah.
there is something that I have taken away from Mellick and Bizzaro in general. You can see in my books now. I was, of course, check out his website. You have, like, a Q&A section. They were asking, like, hey, why do you write such short books? And he just said, like, well, it's just basically my form. I kind of prefer it. And I really like the idea of, like, people be able to read my books in, like, nearly one sitting.
Yeah.
Like you would a movie. That, like, actually made a big impact on me. And it would years later, because, well, if you look at the books I have now,
Yeah.
minus the short story collection here, basically the 4 novels I have are all under 100 pages.
Wow. Nice.
I mean, as a writer, I don't, like, go out of my way and be like, okay, I'm going to write this many words and this many pages. I don't do that. But it just seems like I'm naturally drawn to write smaller stuff. And yeah, Mellick and a few other writers, like Christoph Paul / Mandy DeSandra. Apologies, Christoph, for blowing your cover there. Or, like, other guys like Jeff O'Brien and a few others who write shorter stuff. Yeah, it kind of makes me makes me feel a little bit more, what's the word? Vindicated or something?
I suppose you could say that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Or at least justified in my reasoning for writing short books. It's like, look, these guys are doing it. Look how awesome their stuff is.
Oh yeah, yeah, they are very good. I have to say. My breakthrough melodic for me was the Baby Jesus Butt Plug, which I read on a plane. I like to save Bizzaro books for plane rides because I know that I can get through a few of them and I'm not going to be disappointed. That and Brian Keene books, actually. Brian Keene is definitely an airplane ride kind of guy because you're not going to be bored. You're just going to be right there and boom, next thing you know, you're getting off your plane.
Yeah, I did ask him there because I told him, like, hey, I'm pretty much still a relatively new fan. I've been in you, like, for over a year now. Like, I read the entire Earthworm God series, and of course I listened to the horror show, which of course was my first introduction because, we won't get into it, but Brian Keene's a pretty controversial figure.
Oh, yeah.
For one reason, for many reasons, mostly people having beef with him over stupid shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of drama on the horror show can come up.
That is true. That is very true.
Yeah. So yeah, I told him like, hey, what would you? So by the way, he was like signing my copy of the first Earthworm God's book. I was telling him this. And he looks up at me. He says, "What'd you think of it?" Like real pointedly. I'm like, "Well, no, I very much enjoyed it." And I was wondering, what would you suggest of yours I read next? I was expecting him to like say The Rising or something.
Yeah.
But then he suggested, I can't remember the name of it, but basically it was like a sea horror book of his that he wrote.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. I can't remember the title. I'm sorry, Brian.
Dead Sea?
Yeah, I think that was it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first Keene was actually The Rising because when it came out, it was part of the horror book club, which I got like through Leisure Books every month. So it came in the mail, looked really good, and I think I might be the only person in the world who actually liked the ending.
Oh God. Stop. Now, let's take a break.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Well, I'm just a kill for a night of thrills. And my jacket pocket, well, it's full of pills. A loaded 44, you better hit the floor. Well, and tonight I'll be jam-packed with a lot of gore. And I'm on the run with a loaded gun. And I can
third try is nearly completely still now. It's still a beautiful night here in Elmhurst, Illinois. The birds are chirping, the mosquitoes are out, jet plane above us is going, but yeah, I think the lawn people are finally gone. God. I never had to, stop, I think, twice during a podcast, you know that?
Damn.
A very special episode indeed.
Yes.
God, okay, let's continue the saga. Where were we? I believe we were up to, Dong of Frankenstein.
We just started in on Strange Sex 3.
Okay,
Which
yeah.
is also going to be going out of print due to New King closing down.
Yeah, some other stuff that we were talking about that we didn't record for various reasons. Drama. But,
Yeah.
But, okay, so let's continue on from there.
All right, along the way, I decided that I wanted to give a shot at, a Kindle-only thing. And it was just a little experiment, which, in my opinion, failed. But it's a little thing called Pavlov's Bitches. And it's actually a dark fantasy about this young boy whose his father and brother are brutally murdered by this warlord named Pavlov. And he is taken prisoner, and his mom and sister are taken as sex slaves. And he is learning bonecraft as part of his slavery. So he has decided to use his newfound knowledge of bonecraft in order to kill Pavlov and save the rest of his family. What he doesn't count on is the fact that Pavlov is actually a god. And how the fuck do you fight a god? And it's not long. It's only 99 cents. Just a little experiment, see what I could do with it. I think maybe 5 people have read it. And they were all giveaways, I think. Actually, no, I take that back. I do know one person who really did for sure read that, and that's Erica instead. But she's the only one I know for a fact read it, because she gave me some feedback on it, which I've actually taken into consideration, and I'm going to try another experiment shortly. I'll let you all know when it goes up. I'm still in the editing process on that one, but I think that brings us all the way up to date to Blood. Blood?
Well, actually, very quickly, you had Strip republished with the Riot Forge.
Wait.
Gotcha.
Oh, you know what? No, I did skip one.
Oh.
I'm an idiot.
I've been bamboozled. I thought I got you there.
No. And Jesus Came Back.
Oh, God. What's that about?
That one is about, there's this farmer working out in the cornfields one day when a meteorite comes crashing down in his cornfield. He goes out to see what happened, to see if he can put out his corn before it turns into popcorn. When he finds that it wasn't a meteorite, it was actually Jesus Christ returning. So Jesus starts going around, healing the lame, in fact, making everyone young again. And if you've got missing limbs or missing teeth or whatever, he restores those, makes everyone nice and healthy, and even goes on Fox News to wow everyone and say, hey, the time of faith is over, the time for truth is here, I am back, and I'm here to save you. There's one problem. He's not who he says he is.
Oh.
In fact, he is an alien, part of this warlord family, this family of absolute savage warriors. And he has been sent to get Earth's population ready for slavery.
Dun, dun, dun.
There's an even bigger
Dramatic
catch.
gopher.
Yes. There is an even bigger catch, though. As he spends more time among the Earthlings, he actually starts to get to like them. He falls in love with these people and decides, you know what? I'm going to save them for real. But that does not make his family happy. And now he finds himself in the unenviable position of defending his adopted planet from his own family. So I really wanted to nail home the Superman parallel right there at the beginning with Farmer Kent in his cornfield. And
Oh, have you seen Brightburn?
no, I haven't actually.
Dude, I seriously gotta see it. I've been putting it off for 2 weeks now, but
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's supposed to be a superhero horror film.
that's what I hear.
And yeah, it's pretty much Superman if he was a kid and a serial killer.
Nice,
But I put it off for Godzilla, King of Monsters, which was really good.
nice.
And I was going to see Dark Phoenix yesterday, but due to just being tired from work,
Yeah.
I wanted to get here nice and early. And the fact that currently at Rotten Tomatoes, it's the lowest ranked X-Men movie, even below Origins and the last Wolverine Origins and Last Stand, which I'm yeah, I guess I'll wait.
Yeah, that does sound pretty bad.
But we'll get into comics later.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so after that, then it was stripped through Riot Forge.
Yeah, they brought that back. I think a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah, tell me if I'm wrong, but I never really looked at Riot Forge as a publisher per se. I kind of saw it more as a literary collective.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, particularly because when I had Don Noble work on my book Animaki, my first published book outside of chapbooks
Yeah.
and zines. Yeah, he asked me hey, you want the Riot Forge logo or not on it? I'm wait, I thought it was being published on the Riot Forge.
Yeah.
But it did get on there. Yeah, I was looking through. When I was looking through, I think it was me, you with Strip, and Christoph Paul with his Twitter book there.
Yeah.
I think we're the only ones on there that didn't have a book that wasn't horror or bizarro.
Yeah.
No, mine was straight up literary fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, and literary fiction, crime, how to. At least Riot Forge is still going strong.
Oh, it still is?
That's my understanding. I mean, no one's closed it down, so
Dude, I haven't checked it in forever, man.
it's. I'm fairly certain that it's still, well, maybe not going strong, but it's still going. I mean, I'm sure it's still available.
Something there. What?
It's there as an option.
Well, the group's still there. What was it, a special action news team?
Oh God, yeah. But then it was Blood with Strange House. I think it might have been the last.
Yeah, it's your current book out.
Yeah, it's my current book out, and it's a lot different from the others. Not a lot of laughs in that one. It's about this guy. He's a corrupt cop. And when we meet him in the prologue, he's on the run because he's been discovered as a corrupt cop. And some of the things he's been accused of, among them is the murder of a fellow police officer. And he is cornered. He tries to pick up his pregnant wife to get away at the last minute, but she's heard all the stories now. And she's like, is all of this true? What the fuck does it matter? And she's like, no, I'm not going with you. Not pregnant like this. And he flips out and goes into his house and sits there with a gun for a little while when his dead father comes in and tries to talk a little sense into him. Because there's this creature inside of this guy. And it was put there by his father. His father, being a very brutal father, beat the shit out of his kids every chance he got. And as a result, the beast that was in him is now in his son as well. And he thinks about what his father says, and he realizes that if he's behind bars with a whole bunch of criminals, he can let the beast out a lot more often. So he goes to prison. He doesn't get convicted of the murder, but he gets convicted of other stuff. One day, the warden has him called into the office, and he says, "You are free to go." But he's still got so many years left on his sentence. He's like, "What's going on? This isn't parole." "No, you're free to go. Any records that you were ever here, gone. As far as I know, you're not even a person anymore." So after that, he gets out. He has his bus ticket. But then he's intercepted by this pallid a stranger, and his limo driver, this battered up, beaten guy. And instead of being sent back to whatever miserable life he's got left, this guy offers him a deal that he just can't refuse. You will be paid thousands of dollars. You will be given an apartment rent-free. You'll be given a car. You just have to do everyone a favor every once in a while. And he goes for it, and it turns out that this guy, whose name is Lucifer Robinson, by the way, this guy is, of course, a lot stranger than one would anticipate. It's a phantasmagorical book. A lot of crazy imagery. A lot of just crazy things that aren't hallucinations, but they sure seem like it. Like every once in a while his dead father will give him a visit. Still got the bullet hole in his head where he was shot dead. And it keeps dribbling. Just dribble. So not a lot of laughs, but it's a pretty fucked up book. And it is one of the darker things that I've written, I believe. Mickey Scarlet is the guy's name.
Well, I'm about to say spoiler alert, but too late for that. Rate that, people. Goodreads and Amazon, 5 stars.
Yes, please, by all means.
Okay, so I guess to end on the literary segment, what's next? Got anything you're currently working on?
Well, there's one thing that I can't really talk too much about.
Ooh.
I've been told that I can vague book about it.
Oh, here we
and
go.
I have a little bit. But a while back, I was writing something that was so fucking offensive that I even said to myself, I'm not printing this under my name. I've written offensive fucking things. And
even more than the gay porn?
Oh my God, this is so incredibly offensive. It's guaranteed to offend everybody. I offended myself writing it. And it's not going to be published under my name. You'll probably be able to figure it out once it's been released. I've been told that it is in all likelihood going to be published sometime soon. But it is really, really fucking offensive. And then there's some talk that another book of mine might be coming out sometime next year. It's going to be another collection of short stories, and it's going to be called Tales of Unspeakable Taste.
Ooh.
Yes.
More hardcore than Unquestionable Taste?
Quite a bit, I think. In this case, just so everyone's aware, there is a sequel to my cover story for Tales of Questionable Taste, which was called Monster Cock. So there is a Monster Cock too. That, by God, will be on the cover, I hope. But yeah, aside from the Kindle experiment that I'll be trying out pretty soon, that's pretty much what I've got on the horizon. I'm always working on something. Short story here, novella there. I'm thinking about doing a series of more comedic things. I'm also writing a novella that was suggested to me by somebody else, which I don't know who's going to want it, but I like it.
Well, I was trying to think of the most offensive book I ever saw. I just pulled up the picture of it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you want to check it out?
Sure. Baby fucker.
Yeah. To give a summary, the book is called Baby Fucker by Lars Ullmann, and basically it's a short novella that goes into the head of a psychotic child molester, and I couldn't even read half of it not because of the content, but because of the writing style. It was god awful.
Yeah.
If I had to describe it, there's some work like, say, Jack Kerouac or James Joyce where it's like really long-winded, spontaneous stream of conscious prose that I can't get through because just nonsense goes on and on.
Yeah.
This one was like so minimalist and so short that it got annoying, actually.
Yeah.
Plus, like I said, it was in the head of a psychotic child molester, so half the time it's like, yeah, baby, gotta kill it, fuck. You know, it's like, oh god, I get it.
Yeah.
The funny thing was, I got this when I was in Ann Arbor. One of my favorite Michigan writers, Elizabeth Ellen. I just saw this on her shelf. She has this huge bookshelf. I'm like, yeah, I'm just admiring your bookshelf, and I'm looking at this book. I'm like, what's it about? Oh, you want it? I'm like, oh, really? I can have it? Oh, hi, bird. He's like, yeah, you can take it. We already don't want it. I'm like, okay, great. So, this is Ann Arbor. It was a reading. Good time.
Yeah.
And I went to my car. I threw it on the back seat floor. Forgot about it. And I drove home. And I remembered it when I got home. Then I realized, like, holy shit, I drove like nearly 3 hours going 10 miles over the speed limit with a book called Baby Fucker in my back seat.
Oof. Yeah, that's awkward.
Yeah. Plus, I have looked up on like Amazon Goodreads. Yeah, as I learned, even if you put in the author's name or like Baby Fucker novel, yeah, you will get a Google message saying like, report child exploitation.
Wow.
Which I'm sure got me flagged by a few things, so I'm looking up Baby Fucker into Google.
Yikes.
But
my book is going to be even more offensive.
Oh shit. Will it give me a Google alert?
It might get me Google alerted.
Hi FBI.
There are a few things that I've Googled for research for books and Jesus Came Back. I needed to know what would happen if a nuke was set off in space. So I had to Google that. I'm thinking, well, now I'm on a watch list.
Well, that's a little bit more fantastical, though. Oh, and I was just looking through my uploads on my Facebook to show you that.
Yeah.
There's actually a more offensive book that I found, which I wrote, How Did This Shit Become a Penguin Classic?
Penguin Classic.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
It's more offensive than Baby Fucker.
All right. Yeah. Oh.
Morrissey, autobiography.
Penguin Classic.
From what I read, he paid them to make it a Penguin Classic.
Oh, did he?
Fuck you, Morrissey.
Yeah.
I hate
for that and other reasons.
Him and Robert Smith, I fucking hate that shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff O'Brien. I know you love it, but still.
Well, he's got a thing against Morrissey now too.
Oh, well, he kind of goes back and forth. Like, I mostly hate him, but I still partially love him.
Ah, yeah.
Okay, enough literary talk.
All right.
Let's get into comics.
Yes.
The real good shit.
Yes.
When did you get into comics?
Well, technically, I guess when my dad first gave me copies of Spider-Man and Incredible Hulk, and I think there was an Iron Man in there as well. I read them. I thought they were kind of cool, but didn't really spark any interest in me until I discovered that there was a comic book series based on Transformers put out by Marvel. And then I was all about that, and they said, oh shit, there's G.I. Joe too? Give me some of that too. So I was huge into Transformers and G.I. Joe when I was a kid. But then they canceled Transformers. I'm like, well, fuck this. Huh? They can do that? They can cancel comics? Fuck that. So I said, it broke my heart so badly, that I didn't even finish off the rest of the G.I. Joe series. I just stopped with comics, period.
I had something similar, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think I've first started receiving comics as, like, some kind of gift package.
Yeah.
Like, remember back in the day when, like, there was, like, CD clubs where you could, like, buy CDs?
By Columbia House.
Yeah, something
or
like...
BMG.
Like, you find them in, like, the back of magazines, the ads.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Select 5 CDs for this price.
Yeah.
I think there was something similar like that for comics, and my mom got me them, and it's pretty similar stuff. Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. All cool, but it really didn't catch me. And of course, even though like when it came to that stuff, it was more like the cartoons, Batman the animated series, the movies.
Yeah.
God, I do have fond memories of seeing Batman Forever and Batman Robin. More so Batman Forever, because I remember like the campaign for it with like the Riddler and the Green and all that.
Yeah.
Movie was awful, but the campaign was lit.
Yeah, I will agree with that.
But what really got me into comics was Archie. They put out Sonic the Hedgehog comic.
Oh, really?
Sonic the Hedgehog was actually like I consider one of my first heroes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that to be joking. Like Sonic the Hedgehog actually inspired me, made me like want to be a hero and all that stuff.
Nice.
Be brave.
We all find our heroes wherever we can.
Yeah, and at first it was actually through the cartoon, the anime series. You know, it was like Blue Streak speeds by Sonic the Hedgehog, where it's about Sonic and his friends basically being eco-terrorists. But then I got the comic, and yeah, it was just little kiddie shit. At least up until like the issues up until like 50, where Sonic is framed for murder of Princess Sally. And yeah, he goes on and all this and that. He kills Robotnik. Epic final battle. After that, the storylines got more coherent. They got deeper, especially with romance and action and despair, politics.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they ended the Archie run like 2 years ago or something, because one of the creators, Ken Penders, sued Sega for apparently ripping off one of his characters for like a video game.
Really?
Yeah, but then it became like a big controversy about like creator-owned content and that.
Yeah.
Which is still legit, but the problem was that like a lot of his characters were like pretty much Sega characters.
Oh yeah.
But like different genders or different names.
Ah, okay.
It's an entire weird saga. But yeah, basically it destroyed the comic. And now there's a new Sonic series put out by IDW that's supposed to be aligned with the actual comic verse, which kind of makes me sad because really the Archieverse had like a whole. It was nearly as deep as like any Batman or Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like when I first really got into comics, was Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice. Very nice. I had a few Archies myself when I was a kid. I always liked Jughead better though.
Oh yeah, I tried getting to that, but I really couldn't. Surprisingly, both my mom and I are big fans of Riverdale, the show.
Oh yeah?
Even though I find it really hokey sometimes, which I think they're kind of going for though.
Yeah.
Plus, God, they have the most awful parents ever in that show. Like, they are so awful to their kids and everything. Like, I just can't believe it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, yeah, I asked you this too, since every week you put out Best Comic Book of the Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed some similarities every week. So, like, what are, like, some comics that come up that are often the best?
Well, I should first of all explain how I got back into comics.
Oh, do tell.
So when I was in high school, when my a friend of mine, he put this comic into my hands. And it was called Evil Ernie, Youth Gone Wild. And that's me. And I was like, I'm not really interested in comics anymore. No, read this. You'll get back interested in them. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And holy shit, it was right up my alley. Oh my god. Have you ever read The Evil Ernies?
No, I haven't.
I highly recommend the originals. Not the ones when Dynamite picked them up. Dynamite. But back in the original Chaos Comics days, those were really good. Especially the first, I think, 3 Evil Ernie series. Those were the best. And I got so into it that I wound up becoming friends with the writer of the series, Brian Pulido, who still writes Lady Death these days. That's what he's famous for now. He works with Coffin Comics. But then he put 2 more comics into my hand, my friend CJ. This was in college this time. The first one was something called Preacher.
Yeah, little known comic.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure no one has heard of it since.
Of course. And the other one, by the same author, different artist, was Hitman.
Oh, no one's going to remember that bullshit. No.
And
lame.
that I just took to it like that. And then the next thing I know, I'm looking around, seeing, well, if this is what comics has to offer now, then I would like more of this, please.
In regards to Hitman, too, There was a DC comic storyline they had there called Bloodlines.
Yes.
Yeah, I think the Hitman character was like the only one that came out of that, like, who got his powers from the aliens to actually survive. Like, it has some big event where, like, God, DC does this a lot.
They do.
Where, like, they just literally slaughtered all the Bloodline characters, all the new Bloods in, like, one fell swoop. I think it was Superboy Prime that did it. He just, like, blasted them, like, why you all hate me? Well, there you go. You built up a years-long storylines and you killed them all.
Yes.
Good job.
Yes. But Hitman did survive, at least for, what?
Well,
70 comics?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
With every once in a while, because he was a part of the DCU, other artists and writers would take him on every once in a while. Like, there was the one time where he tried out for the JLA.
Yeah.
And he did it just so he could see through Wonder Woman's clothes.
Yeah. I remember one scene where, like, Superman, like, stopped him on the roof or something.
Yes.
I think he thought, like, he was going to jump or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But then they had a little talk. Superman flies away. Hitman's like, man, what a great guy. And he gets out his sniper rifle, just kills his target.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because in all of the Hitman and Hitman-esque things that Garth Ennis wrote for DC, he fucked with all of the superheroes. The only one he ever treated with respect was Superman. Even when he did the epilogue to Hitman, many years after the series ended, the time that Tommy Monahan saved the JLA on the moon.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, and they didn't bring back Hitman for the new 52.
No, they didn't.
But they did. I don't know. I think it was Garth that wrote the series. He wrote like this team where it had like the homeless dude.
Yeah.
And like the dog.
Section
catcher.
8.
Section 8. It sucked. It was a horrible comic.
I loved it because he had Bueno Excelente rape John Constantine.
Yeah. Wait. Constantine? I thought it was like a Green Lantern.
No.
I honestly hated it when I read it because I guess I kind of grew out of that a little bit. Where it's like, oh, okay, you're just kind of not really a good storyline here or anything. You're just kind of using shock humor.
The funny thing is, it's they let Garth Ennis continue in the old universe before it was reset. So he got to do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Yeah.
So he made fun of every character. Like having the Spectre having to go around and resorting out all the different timelines and shit and being pissed off at everyone.
Yeah.
And I just like the fact. And I got to meet John McCrae once. And I got to talk to him about Bueno Excelente.
Oh, God. Bueno.
Excelente. So...
What was, like, his thing? Like, he was a pervert who got his powers through, like, glory holes or something?
No, he fights crime with the power of perversion.
Yeah, that's it.
And I got to talk with John McCrae about this.
I said dog catcher. I meant dog welder.
Yes.
Yeah, his power is just fucking welding dogs to shit.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But I just think it's absolutely funny that I got to say to him that with all the reboots and everything at DC, the one thing that I really take pleasure in is knowing that somewhere in that original Gotham City, Bueno Excelente is lurking in a dark alley.
I guess I kind of got jaded on that extreme stuff too, through like Mark Millar and everything, who I fucking despise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think he's a shitty writer. I think he does stuff to like the extreme, just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
Actually, I remember when I was watching a YouTube video about like the rise and fall of the Ultimate Marvel Universe.
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was him and another guy started it, and the other creator straight up said that when he was comparing himself and Mark, he said Mark was basically just nihilist violence, whereas he wanted to like put some hope and some storylines into it.
Yeah.
Which I can see why.
Yeah.
I know. I guess I don't know. I guess just some of these guys that do more extreme stuff, I just don't appreciate it anymore.
Yeah.
It's more guys like, say, like Grant Morrison, or, God, should remember this name. Snyder.
Scott Snyder?
Yes, Scott Snyder with Batman with the his run with Batman New 52.
You know, I've never read any of his Batman. I
Oh,
much appreciated his American Vampire, though.
Oh, dude, check out the New 52 Batman for like Quarter of the Owls up until I forget the name of it, but it's when Batman gets his memories back.
Oh.
It's really good storytelling, and there's plenty of violence in that too, but it's not just for shits and giggles. There's a story, there's a goal, there's an enemy, and there's some feeling to it, I guess.
Alright.
It's the kind of stuff that I go for with my own books.
Okay.
Self-advertisement.
There you go. Shameless self-promotion.
Yep. So, okay, now that I'm not bitching about that guy, what are some of your favorite comics?
Right now, Criminal
right now.
is up there. I love Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. A Walk Through Hell by Garth Ennis and Gore, and I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Sudke or something like that. Let's see what else we have here. Injection by Warren Ellis and Declan Shavely, I think it's pronounced. Let's see what else. Really anything by Ennis Brubaker.
I guess
Azzarello.
any comics that I guess fit into the superhero mold.
The last superhero book I read was Warren Ellis's Karnak.
Okay. Because I'm still all about superheroes.
Yeah.
Which, when talking to you or my editor Zach Elmblad or even my friend Andy Argo, where it's like, I'm like, hey, have you checked out new Batman or this new Superman storyline? No, but I read this really great story called Blankets.
Oh.
Where it's like, guy, I feel like such a casual. You're reading like really deep, thoughtful novelesque graphic novels, and here I am, ooh, Batman. He fights the Joker again.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I've never really been a big superhero guy. At least not in comics.
Oh, really?
In the movies, I do like the Marvel movies a lot.
What do you think of Endgame?
I loved it. I mean, the time travel stuff is all over the place. But
same here, and that's actually the reason why I liked it.
Yeah.
Time travel, real or alternate, basically anything that involves time travel, alternate dimensions, like with Spider-Man into Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Hell, even Batman v Superman, which was awful.
Yeah.
The best scene was the nightmare scene, where it's like Batman in this alternate future dream. That was like the best part. So
I should clarify about superhero movies. The DC movies, not so much.
I don't blame you. I'm a DC fanboy. Even I'm like, Shazam was excellent, though.
I would love to believe that.
I'm telling you, it's true. It's an excellent film.
And I'm halfway inclined to believe it. But after Suicide Squad, I just can't do it. I haven't seen any movie from DC after that.
I encourage you to watch it.
Yeah.
Basically, if you were to watch 3 movies from the current DC extended universe, I would put it this order: Wonder Woman, Shazam, and they're both like so good and so close that I kind of had to battle with myself to figure out whether it's Batman or Shazam was better. And then Aquaman.
Yeah.
The rest of the stuff, Suicide Squad, Batman, Man of Steel, I got my rankings, but watch those 3.
Yeah.
Those are the good ones.
I hear they're good. Maybe someday I'll give in.
God knows you have plenty of time.
Well, unless one of my ailments kills me.
You want to get in on that? About your health? Because that's another thing being Facebook friends with you, is that I'm always hearing about your health ailments. Which, I'm glad you're around, but also I'm glad you're around. I'm glad you're here talking with me, and glad you're alive in general, but how are you still kicking? I mean, holy shit.
I don't know. By this point, it's easier to list the organs that haven't tried to kill me. Oddly enough, my liver has not yet tried to kill me. Every time I'm in, they check everything on me. Liver comes back okay.
We talked about this a little bit before this, but what are like the 3 big things that I guess happened, at least recently?
Recently, they've hit me pretty much back to back to back. I had to have a toe amputated in my right foot, the big toe. That was a happy birthday gift from the universe for when I turned 40. Then my kidneys tried to kill me because, well, there was this incident where I tripped on an air hose at a gas station. I had just enough time to decide face or shoulder. I took it on my shoulder because I can't afford new glasses.
Smart thinking.
So, unfortunately, the shoulder kept hurting after about a month. And I decided to get it checked out at immediate care. They checked it out. They said, it's just a little inflamed. Take some ibuprofen. You'll be okay. What they didn't tell me was that ibuprofen does not act very well with my diabetes medication. So it interacted poorly with metformin, which then caused my kidneys to stop working almost. When I went into the ER, they said that we got you in here just in time because your kidneys are working at 5%. They tested my kidneys. They said that on the scale, I forgot, I don't even know what the test was, but they said if you score a 1, that's ideal. If you score a 2, that's catastrophic. I scored an 11.
Turn it up to 11.
Exactly. So they admitted me and nursed me back to health and sent me on my way. So the kidneys failed to kill me. And out of the blue, I broke my left foot recently.
Very quickly, how long have you been diabetic?
Years. Going back maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah, I have to say, too, that particular episode with the kidneys scared me, too. Well, for myself, because, my mom, being the mom that she is, likes to warn me about stuff and give advice, even if I don't need it. One was recently because I take ibuprofen, and she was like, "Oh, you should switch to Tylenol because it's harder on your kidneys." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Okay, mom. Okay, whatever. Bye." But and usually I take ibuprofen after I drink heavily because I don't want to wake up with a hangover, or headache, and it usually works.
Yeah.
But then I read that about ibuprofen, and well, I don't know how you look at yourself, but you too like to indulge in adult beverages.
Yes.
So I kind of put two together. I'm like, holy shit, my mom was maybe right. Well, I'm just gonna switch to Tylenol. I'm finishing up the ibuprofen that I have.
Yeah.
But that kind of gave me a scare when I read that. I thought like, holy shit, I'm literally I drink pretty much the same amount that he does, and I take ibuprofen.
Yeah, I don't recommend it.
All right. And now your latest episode is with your foot.
Yeah, I broke my left foot. I have no idea how. But then again, I am diabetic, and I don't have a lot of sensation in my foot. So it took me a couple of days before I went to the ER, where they diagnosed me with a broken foot, and they called it Sharky's foot. It's when a diabetic breaks a foot bone and doesn't feel it.
Well, they call it Sharky's. Does it have anything to do with sharks at all?
No, the doctor who discovered it was named Sharky, but unfortunately he discovered it as as part of the last stage of syphilis. Unless there's something I don't know about myself. But they said it applies to diabetics as well.
Well, based on my my love of true crime, and especially older, say, serial killers like Jack the Ripper, yeah, if you get syphilis, it could take a little bit, but it could fuck you up really mentally and physically.
Yeah.
Whereas Jack the Ripper or Al Capone, he has syphilis and went fucking crazy over it.
Oh, yeah.
But you seem pretty sane, so I don't think it was syphilis.
Probably not.
Unless, like, you recently had sex with someone and somehow got it.
Stage 1 at best.
Plus, I think you would kind of know.
Yeah, probably.
Or you would speculate, like, wait, I hit it raw last time.
Al Capone, by the way, buried 5 minutes away that way.
Wait, he's buried in Chicago?
He is buried in Berkeley.
Holy shit, I gotta visit that grave then.
Yeah.
Dude, last time I went grave looking around here in Chicago was Forest Park.
Yeah.
Went to visit Emma Goldman and the Haymarket Martyrs and a few others.
Yeah.
Dude, I did not know Al Capone was here. I thought he died down in Florida or something.
He died in Alcatraz, I believe.
Well, I thought he was like, oh god. Well, whatever. No, I gotta visit that grave now.
Yeah. If you want to go grave hunting, I would highly recommend going to Graceland Cemetery over on Irving Park and Clark. That is probably the most glorious graveyard we have around here. I mean,
there's also like some blues singers and that I would like to check out sometime.
Yeah.
But I've kind of lapsed on my grave visiting.
Yeah.
I do plan on reinvigorating that when I visit London though in 2 weeks.
Nice.
My first overseas trip.
Yeah.
Like so far, I'm going to be visiting Westminster Abbey, which is like a high honor to be buried there.
Oh yeah.
They got like the Poets' Corner, where pretty much every poet in the English language you heard of is buried there or has a monument.
Yeah.
And of course, Karl Marx, his grave,
Of course.
which is continuously getting vandalized.
That's what I hear.
Years. So yeah. Anyway, let's get back to the shark foot.
Yes. So they admitted me for a while and gave me some morphine, which I always appreciate. I love a good painkiller. Although they stopped handing out my favorite, which was Dilaudid. It's a shame. There's heroin, then there's Oxy, and then there's Dilaudid. That was really good shit. I missed that.
No fentanyl?
Well, back when I was first given that dichotomy, they didn't have a name for it yet.
Okay.
But I guess now that's at the top of the...
Okay, that was completely a joke. I didn't think that you would admit to using fentanyl.
The farthest up I've gone is Dilaudid. And it's fucking great. I'd suck on my little dick for Dilaudid.
Oh, jeez. So anyway, okay, your foot.
Yeah.
How's it healing?
I think it's healing fine. But I'm going to find out for sure. Not this Monday, but next Monday when they take the cast off and x-ray me.
Well, because you also cryptically wrote on your Facebook that they may amputate it if it's not.
Well, the thing is, if it doesn't heal properly, if the bones break through the arch in the foot, then they have to amputate. And unfortunately, they can't just amputate the foot. They got to amputate all the way up to just below the knee. Yeah.
Holy shit. Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So...
on this podcast, I do attempt to be comedic. Because that's just how I am. But there are some times where I just can't be comedic. This is one of those. How are you feeling about that? Like, are you?
I'm
you
fairly confident that it's not going to happen.
Oh, okay.
I'm fairly confident. I mean,
Yeah.
I wiggle my foot around, see if, there's anything wrong with my arch.
Yeah, I mean, how have you been getting around? I mean, you're well enough to come pick me up from the station.
Yeah, I've been getting around on crutches. I try not to go too far on them because I'm a flop sweater and these things are pretty rough. But yeah, I try not to go any farther than, say, my back door to my garage. And when I have to get around upstairs, the crutches, there's not a lot of room up there. So I use my grandfather's old cane.
You thought about getting a wheelchair or trying anything like that?
I can't really use that in the house, but I guess maybe out and about, I can do that. Like I'm gonna do tomorrow for Printer's Row.
Oh, so that's how you're gonna get there?
Well, I'll drive first.
Dude, honestly, I'm gonna be there, so yeah, I guess hit me up on Messenger if you want me to help you in some way.
I would appreciate that.
I mean, I'm the non-Bizzaro guy there, so it's like, okay, I'll do this heavy lifting. I'll go wheel Bruni around downtown Chicago.
Excellent. It's good to know.
All right. Well, dude, that's all I really have to ask. You want to put this podcast out as misery before another long guy decides to come by?
Or another helicopter, or sounds from the interstate.
Suburban Chicago.
Yep.
I should quickly ask you, 2 podcasts ago I interviewed Robert Dean, who's a native Chicagoan, and he lives in Austin, Texas now. And I just straight up asked him, because the whole podcast is just us talking about Chicago.
Yeah.
So, basically his claim is that if you live in the suburbs, because I see this all the time online, with arguments and shit. Whether you're a true Chicagoan if you live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
That's a tough question. I wouldn't necessarily say that if I'm talking to a stranger, yeah, I'm from Chicago. I would say I'm from the suburbs of Chicago. I think in the long run, I would say maybe Chicagolandians.
Chicagolandians.
But I wouldn't say directly from Chicago, no.
Alright. Because I do have desires to move to Chicago. I mean, I'm comfortable where I'm at now, but it's one of those things where it's like, I'm good in here now, but I wish I could go here instead.
Yeah.
And yeah, if I were to move to Chicago, I figured I'd probably have to move out somewhere out here, or Melrose Park, or Stone Park, or
yeah.
Which, by the way, you have a lot of parks around here.
Yes, we do.
And they all look exactly the same, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Like a lot of fucking parks in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it's like, I asked Robert Dean, I'm like, hey, what if I sent you a message like, hey Dean, guess what? I just moved to Chicago. I live in Melrose Park now. I'm a Chicagoan. Isn't that great? He's like, no, you are not a Chicagoan. Get that out of your fucking head. Shout out to Robert Dean. I love that guy.
All right.
All right. I guess that's the end of this podcast. Let's do some promo shit. Anything you want to advertise? Websites, appearances, books?
Just my new one, Blood, through Strange House Press. And keep an eye out for more stuff on talesofquestionabletaste.com, which I hope to update more often and hopefully will not go down again.
We hope so too. And this podcast will come out. Allergies. Quality podcast content.
Yes.
We're both sick. But yeah, it'll come out later this week. But yeah, well, everyone, hope to see you all at Printers Row. We're both going to be there in some way. Come buy our shit. Come buy Michael Rose's shit. Who else is going to be there? Danger Slayer going to be around this year?
I don't know.
Unfortunately, I don't think Don or Nick is going to be there.
No.
Emma's not going to be there. Who the fuck is going to be there?
I don't know.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow.
I guess so.
Anyway, everyone, that's the podcast. Thanks for listening. If you've heard this on the Internet Archive, you can check out on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, check out on the Internet Archive. You can find me at garretschuelke.tumblr.com. I'm on Twitter at Garret Schuelke. My latest book, GODAN, Queen of the Third Coast, is now out on Lulu, and sometime it should be on Barnes & Noble, Amazon, whenever Lulu does their fucking distribution thing going, which I guess could take up to 48 days or some shit.
Damn.
I don't know. It'll get there somehow. Buy my stuff. It's on there. Buy John Bruni stuff. John, of course, you're on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
You're on Twitter.
Twitter.
Tales of Questionable Taste.
Yep.
I'll just link that all out in the show comments. And that's it.
All right, thank you.
John, thank you for being on. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks for picking me up. Let's see, what time is it? 9:14. Say you want to go get hammered someplace?
Let's see what we can do about that.
All right, I guess we'll find out. Thanks for listening, everyone. And thank God, finally, here's the outro song.